like this, just forward, then back. Do it a few more times. Forward and back. One more time. Forward and back. Then we're gonna go left to right. So left to right, and you should feel it all along the side of your neck right here. Go left to right, and 2 more times. Left to right. Last time, left to right. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and warm up your shoulders. So just go ahead and roll backwards, just like this, just to loosen them up. Just a few more times, just to release all the tension in your shoulders. And then go ahead and roll forward now. So just roll forward like this. And then in this next stretch, just go ahead and take your hands and put them on your knee and put all the tension or all the weight in your knee into your hands, so you're kind of getting a stretch right in this area and just push into your knee. And it should feel like a pretty deep stretch. Just go ahead and hold that for a few more seconds. And then release. We're going to do the other side. And if you're getting too much stretch, just make sure not to put all your weight into your hands. And then go ahead and release. Now we're going to do some side-to-side rib isolations like this. So side, 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 just back and forth. Just isolating those ribs and kind of getting a stretch all along your side a little bit. And then we're going to do some back and forth, front and back rib isolations like this. So front and back, and front, contract, front, contract, front, contract, then go side to side. So that should just get your blood flowing. And now we're going to stretch all the way to the left. And Karina's going to show the beginner's modification of this. So just go ahead and put your hand right above your knee. And for a deeper stretch, just follow along with me and put your hand like this. And then go into a flat back. And then all the way down to the ground. And take a few bends right there. So bend and stretch and bend and stretch and go to the center. And then take a few plies there as well. So bend and stretch, bend and stretch, and go over to the other side. Then take a flat back right there. And then go again another time. Then take that deep stretch over as far as you can. And then into a flat back. Then down to your feet. And if that's too hard to touch your feet, it's okay to go further up your leg. Then take a few plies again. Bend and stretch. Bend and stretch. And back to the center. Bend and stretch. Bend and stretch, and over to the other side, and then back up, and back to the center, and then we're going to do the other direction, so just go this way, and go into a flat back, and then down all the way to the ground, or as far as you can go, and go ahead and bend that left knee, bend and stretch, bend and stretch, back to the center. Take 2 more bends, and bend and stretch to the other side, and back up. We're going to take one more time, go all the way down, 2 more bends, back to the center, 2 more, coming back up, and the last stretch we're going to do.
Stretch for your hamstring muscles. They go down the back of your thigh. Place both legs straight out in front of you, keeping your back nice and straight in a good posture. Now lean towards your toes until you feel a stretch down the back of your legs. Hold onto your toes. If this is too much, you can use a towel. Wrap it around your feet. And And again, lean forward until you feel a stretch down the back of your legs. Hold for 30 seconds and repeat twice a day.
Now I'm going to demonstrate how to do a leg raise. Okay, you're going to lie down. Okay, for us, we're going to put our hands behind the lower back or slightly underneath near the glutes to give support for the lower back. Because this exercise, primarily you're targeting the lower abdominals, so it puts a little bit more stress in the lower back if you don't have a strong core. So keep your knees slightly bent. Come down. The lower you bring your legs to the floor, obviously the more resistance it's going to cause in the lower abdominals. So you can start here and just come straight up. Okay, it's down slow again. Come up faster as you go down. So your negatives are always a little slower than the positives. Exhale on the positive. Down slow. Okay. Remember, knees bent. If you start to feel a little bit of strain in the lower back, that'll take off some of the pressure in the lower back.
For this exercise, we will be using an exercise mat for support. Place your hands under your body at the lower end of your back to keep the spine comfortable and prevent straining your back. Do not flatten your back onto the floor. Bend your left leg and place your left foot flat on the floor. Keep your right leg stretched straight out. Draw your belly button in towards your spine. Slowly raise your head, neck, and shoulders off of the floor to the point that you feel your stomach muscles working. Slowly return to the starting position and repeat. Raise your head, neck, and shoulders up to a count of 2 and back down to a count of 3. Do not hold your breath. Breathe normally. After 10 repetitions, straighten your left leg and bend your right leg, placing your right foot flat on the exercise mat. Repeat until you have finished 10 to 15 repetitions. Here are a few tips to doing this exercise correctly. Halfway through your repetitions, switch legs, so that the left leg is now straight and the right leg is now bent. When this exercise is done properly, you should only feel your stomach muscles working. You should not feel a strain or pain in your neck muscles. Avoid using your elbows to help move your shoulders off of the floor. Start with about 10 repetitions and build up slowly.
to start squatting. So really push those knees out to the side and then bring those hips up to the top and then squeeze those glutes as you get all the way. That's it. Okay, so we're going to be doing 10 minutes of different variations of squats. I want you to stay with me, okay? Even if you just have to go back to this, okay? We're going to be doing lots of different things, a little bit of jumping, but it doesn't matter. If you don't want to jump today, no problem. You are going to come back to this squat. So let's just make sure everybody's doing a squat correctly first, okay? I'm going to show you from the side. We're going to squat down, and we're going to make sure that that booty is sticking back and those knees are staying out to the side. We get to the top, and then we squeeze those glutes underneath. So I want you to imagine really sitting back down on something, okay? So now you've got it right. Let's keep going. So those of you just keep on squatting. Oh yes, this is the nice part. You're going to get to enjoy this. Okay, so really push those knees out. Now we're going to take it down and we're going to hold. That's it. So knees are out to the side. Take a nice big breath in. And as you breathe out, give me a smile because we are going to crack these glute muscles. Okay, we're going to pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, back up to the top. Oh yes, that's it. So take it all the way down and squeeze all the way up. Oh, you're going to feel so good after you finish this. You're going to be so glad that you finished the challenge. And then make sure that you let me know that you finished that challenge. Okay, on Rebecca Louise Fitness on my Instagram. I want to find out where you guys are. I want to find out that you finished this challenge. Okay, we're going to take it down. Second set. Woo, let's go. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Way to do a burpee. First, I need a strong jump. So my head is in line with my heels. I'm going to come down, knees go wide, and I'm just hopping up and landing right back down into my squat. When I land into my squat, I want to make sure that I have a soft landing. So I'm just jumping up and coming right back down. From there, I'm coming into a squat. Head stays in line with my tailbone, knees go out wide, and I'm dropping straight down, but my chest is staying up. So here's my squat. So I went from my jump right into my squat. From there, hands have to come down. My knees need to be wider than my elbows. That way, I can kick myself back. Now, I don't want to lose my back here, so I'm keeping a nice flat back, and then all I have to do is jump back. Now in plank position, shoulders right over the wrist, body nice and flat, straight line from my head to my heels. From there, all I have to do is a lowering plank, meaning I'm going straight down and coming right back up. From here, I need to jump my knees on the outsides of my elbows so that my knees are tracking over my toes. That way I can come right back up into the jump. Now, if a full burpee is too challenging, which they often are, you can completely eliminate the push-up. So I start with my jump. I land with knees wide, hands are coming down, and all I'm going to do is kick my feet back. Straight line from my head to my heels, and then I'm jumping my feet right back up, knees outside of the elbows, tracking over the toes, and jumping up and repeating. And one more modification, if you want to make this more of a low impact move, you just take out the jump and you walk it back. So again, starting over here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to squat down, hands are going to come down, I'm going to walk one foot and then the other, and then I'm going to walk back, and up. So let's talk about breath work throughout the exercise. You want to make sure that you're breathing through the hardest part of the exercise, which is typically when you're doing the walk back or the walk back forward, and then lower right back down. So again, always want to make sure that
other than a piece of open wall. Now let's go ahead and get into our first exercise, the boxer shuffle, to help keep our heart rate up while we cool down. So get those feet moving back and forth, just stay up on the ball of your foot, nice and easy jog back and forth. Just keep those lungs open, breathing normally. And in just a second, we're going to switch off to a roundabout toe touch. And go ahead and switch those feet just a little wider than shoulder width. You're going to do a nice big circle down with that torso, down through the center, then back up the other side, then reverse that direction. Just keep going back and forth. Make sure you're getting a really good stretch on those hamstrings. And go ahead and switch to our next, the torso twist. So standing straight up and down, rotating those shoulders left to right. Again, feet just a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Try to really get a good rotation on those shoulders without rotating those hips too much. We're almost done. And switch to those shoulder rolls. Roll those shoulders back behind you, up towards those ears and back down behind you. Then roll them back, forward, and front. When you get to the back, you want to be squeezing those shoulders back. When you get to the front, you want to be squeezing those shoulders together in front. And go ahead and switch to arm pull plus a hip shoulder stretch. So one arm comes across in front of your body, grabbing an elbow, pulling across for that shoulder stretch. Then going down into a half lunge position so that rear leg is straight, stretching through the front of that hip flexor. And go and switch sides. That opposite arm comes across, that opposite leg goes back. Again, keep that rear leg nice and straight, stretching through the front of that hip flexor. Keep that torso straight up and down, that arm across in front of your chest, nice and close. And let's switch that shoulder stretch. So get to that wall, hands just a little bit above head height. Press that chest down to the base of the wall, one leg forward. Just holding it there, trying to really bring those arms back behind you. You should feel a stretch through your chest and through the inside of that shoulder joint. Switch which leg is in front. Same exact position on those arms, still trying to press that chest down. If you want to get a little extra stretch out of this, you can always straighten that front leg to get a little bit of a hamstring stretch. And go ahead and switch that chest stretch. So hand against the wall, fingers facing back behind you. Rotate that chest away from that hand until you feel that chest start to pull and stretch. Now, if you're feeling it more in your bicep, then make sure you rotate your arm so the inside of your elbow is facing up towards the ceiling. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So that opposite hand on the wall, fingers facing back behind you. Rotate those shoulders away. Hold it for just a bit longer. And let's go ahead and switch to a toe touch stretch. So feet just about shoulder width apart. Stretch straight down between those legs. Try to get down as low as you possibly can. Now, if you want to, you can always bring those feet closer together, get a little bit more of a stretch off those hamstrings, but having them out wide is just fine. Do a quad stretch next. Standing up, one leg back behind you, tuck that heel to your butt as close as you can. We're going to stretch out that hamstring on the opposite leg as well by leaning forward. Still trying to pull that heel to your butt, pulling that knee back behind you to stretch out the front of that thigh and that hip. So let's go ahead and do the same thing in the opposite side. So switch around, that opposite leg comes up, heel to butt, bring that knee back behind you as far as you can until you stretch the front of that thigh, that quadricep, that hip flexor, and leaning over to stretch the hamstring, that opposite leg. And let that one relax. We're moving on to a standing glute stretch. So one leg over top of the other. You're going to squat down. You can hold on to something for balance if you need to. Otherwise, try to hold your own balance. Just squatting down as low as you can. You should feel this in the glute of the leg that's over top. And go ahead and switch sides. So same exact exercise, just that opposite leg over top, squatting down again. Like I said, if you can, hold your own balance. It makes it a little bit more challenging, but it makes it more than just a stretch. Hold this for just a little bit longer. Keep those lungs open. And we're going to switch to an inside thigh plus a tricep stretch. So one leg bends, the other leg stays straight. You're going to drop that hip down towards that straight leg to get that inside thigh stretch. That hand for that tricep stretch is going to be up towards that shoulder, being pulled across by that other arm. Switch sides, same exact thing, just on the opposite side. Reaching back towards the same shoulder with that hand, and then that opposite arm grabbing that elbow, pulling it across. Just a few more seconds. And let it relax. Very good. That is it. This workout is complete and your cool down is done.